The wrong office. The afternoon sun painted golden streaks across the marble floors of the 42nd floor. Sarah Mitchell knelt carefully on the pristine surface, her cleaning cloth moving in gentle, methodical circles. The massive windows surrounding her offered a breathtaking view of the city below, where tiny cars moved like ants through the busy streets. Sarah had been working as a cleaning assistant at Meridian Tower for just 3 weeks. Every day, she arrived early and stayed late, determined to prove herself worthy of this job that had literally saved her life. After months of unemployment and mounting bills, this position was her lifeline. She paused for a moment, sitting back on her heels to admire her work. The floor gleamed like a mirror, reflecting the warm lights that filled the luxurious office space. Modern furniture in rich leather and polished wood created an atmosphere of success and power. Everything here spoke of wealth and achievement, a world so different from her small apartment across town. Sarah pulled out her worn notepad and checked her list again. Room 4251. She was sure this was correct. Mrs. Henderson from Human Resources had been very specific about the offices she needed to clean today. The regular cleaning crew was short-staffed and Sarah had volunteered to take on extra rooms. She worked. Sarah found herself moving more slowly than usual. There was something almost sacred about this space. The afternoon light created a peaceful atmosphere that made her feel calm despite her naturally nervous disposition. She had always been the quiet one, the girl who preferred to blend into the background rather than draw attention to herself. The sound of her cloth against the marble was rhythmic and soothing. Sarah had learned to find comfort in these simple, repetitive tasks. They gave her time to think, to dream about a future where she might not have to worry about every dollar, every bill, every uncertain tomorrow. She moved toward the impressive desk that dominated one side of the room. Papers were neatly arranged in precise stacks, and a sleek laptop sat close beside a crystal paperweight. Sarah was always extra careful around personal items. She had been taught never to move or disturb anything that didn't belong to her. The nameplate on the desk caught her eye. Alexander Stone, Chief Executive Officer. Sarah felt a small flutter of nervousness. She had heard whispers about Mr. Stone, the young millionaire who had built his company from nothing, the demanding perfectionist who expected excellence from everyone around him. She had never seen him in person, but the stories painted a picture of someone intense and unapproachable. Sarah preferred it that way. Important people made her anxious. She was much more comfortable in her invisible role, cleaning and organizing while the building's powerful occupants were safely away at meetings or lunch appointments. The late afternoon sun was beginning to shift, casting longer shadows across the office. Sarah worked methodically, dusting surfaces and straightening cushions with the careful attention to detail that had earned her supervisor's approval. She took pride in her work, even if no one would ever notice the extra care she put into every task. As she polished the coffee table, Sarah allowed herself a moment to imagine what it would be like to work in a place like this every day, not as a cleaning person, but as someone important, someone whose opinions mattered. The thought was both thrilling and terrifying. She was so lost in her daydream that she didn't hear the elevator doors opening down the hallway. The sound of footsteps on marble made Sarah freeze. Her heart immediately began racing as she recognized the confident stride of someone who belonged in this rarefied world. She glanced at the clock on the wall. 4:30 p.m. Her supervisor had assured her that all the executives would be in meetings until at least 6 o'clock. Sarah quickly gathered her cleaning supplies, her hands trembling slightly as she tried to pack everything away as quietly as possible. Maybe if she was very still, whoever it was would pass by without noticing her. But the footsteps stopped directly outside the office door. A tall man in a perfectly tailored navy suit appeared in the doorway. His dark hair was slightly tousled as if he had been running his hands through it, and his blue eyes held an expression of surprise as they landed on Sarah, who was still kneeling on the floor with her cleaning supplies scattered around her. A moment, neither of them moved. Sarah felt her cheeks burning with embarrassment as she realized this had to be Alexander Stone himself. She had been caught in his private office, looking like exactly what she was, a nervous, out-of-place cleaning girl who clearly didn't belong in this world of luxury and power. "I'm so sorry," Sarah whispered, scrambling to her feet. "I was told to clean this office. I must have made a mistake. I'll leave right away." Alexander studied her face with an intensity that made Sarah want to disappear into the floor. She expected anger, maybe even a demand to have her fired immediately. Instead, his expression softened into something that looked almost like curiosity. "What's your name?" he asked quietly. "Sarah Mitchell, sir. I work for the cleaning company. I'm really sorry for the confusion." Alexander walked slowly into his office, his eyes taking in the spotless surfaces and the way the afternoon light now seemed to dance more brightly off every polished surface. "You do beautiful work, Sarah." The compliment was so unexpected that Sarah looked up in surprise, meeting his eyes for the first time. What she saw there wasn't the cold disapproval she had feared, but something warm and genuine. "I was supposed to be in meetings all afternoon," Alexander continued, loosening his tie slightly. "But sometimes plans change." "I'm glad they did." Sarah wasn't sure how to respond. She had never been in a situation like this alone with someone so important, someone whose world was so different from hers. "The sun looks different in here today," Alexander said, walking to the windows where Sarah had spent so much time. "Cleaning everything seems brighter somehow." As Sarah finally began to relax, she realized that maybe the stories about Alexander Stone had been wrong. Or maybe, in this moment bathed in golden afternoon light, they were both just two people who had found themselves in an unexpected situation that somehow felt exactly right. The city continued to bustle far below them, but in the quiet sanctuary of the office, time seemed to slow down, allowing space for something new and beautiful to begin.